Need a motion.
I seek the floor. I move that this agenda item be postponed until after the new board is seated in December 2012.
Is there a second? There's no second. I propose this agenda item, so I will move that we approve the contracts as presented.
And the hidden agenda comes out. Yep.
Is there a second?
Really?
Okay.
Madam President,
Mm-hmm.
I would move that the contracts be extended for 1 year.
Motion by Mr. Everhart, second by Ms. Stendler. Board discussion.
I would move to amend the motion, to add each position shall be acted upon individually and independently of one another.
Is there a second? There is no second. Board discussion.
We gotta get to November quick.
I just have a few comments in response to the audience. In my view, I believe that school boards, if they were to wait for every election cycle to award contracts to administrators, that the administration teams in the districts would be paralyzed and subject to political pressure, and that would conceivably be extreme political pressure. We need administrations that are able to work across elections of school board members in order to govern and provide guidance for school district. When you work with trainers of boards, whether they are nonprofit or governmental boards, frequently the trainers indicate that it takes 1 to 2 years for new boards to comprehend the complicated breadth of the work that it takes to govern. And in my own personal experience, I believe I still have a long way to go to learn about the work of districts and to understand many items. I believe that I have done good work, but I also know that it takes time. And therefore, I'm not confident that a board member who's elected in November would have the knowledge about the district and the complex work that it takes to support a school district, that this individual would be knowledgeable enough to make a decision in less than 1 month. I also wanted to say that there's a difference between bargaining units who still receive salaries when negotiations are underway, and when and the difference is these individuals will not receive any salary when their contracts expire. And in regards to comments that I've received in email, 4 of these contracts are continue until June 2013. Well, all 5 of them do, but 4 of them include a longevity clause, which is being referred to as a salary increase, which in my view is erroneous. It's a longevity clause that's similar to those that exist in our other bargaining units. It happens to be awarded on their 4th year of service, and the year of the award is July 1, 2012, based on the contract. The board cannot decide to, or the board cannot withdraw that increase because it's in the contract that expires in June 2013 already. If we were to withhold that longevity increase, then the board would be in breach of a contract. At least that's my understanding of this, and that would be an exposure for the district. At this point in time, that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Any other board members for discussion?
I have something I've written that I'd like to read, and then I have a couple of questions to ask as well. I would like, of course, to say that sitting here, I'm extremely disappointed and stunned to learn that members of this board would even suggest that we offer any contract extensions 14 months prior to their expiration.
There's a smart one.
I think it's noteworthy to say that this board has never discussed any contract extensions, nor has this appeared on any previous agenda. I think it's irresponsible to contemplate, even to contemplate extensions without a full discussion. This is a public matter and should have a public discussion. It should certainly be one that this entire board has a discussion around. So for the past 2 months, I've been requesting that any discussion or any sort of action around contract extensions be postponed until the new board is seated in December. I think this is the prudent and responsible course of action. Yet my requests to place this postponement on the agenda have been ignored for the past 3 board meetings, despite the fact that I've submitted them and continue to ask for this discussion to occur. No reason for this obstruction has been given to me yet after 2 months. I think additionally, it's unconscionable for the board to offer contract extensions while bargaining unit contract extensions are unresolved, or contract negotiations are unresolved. And furthermore, we don't even know now and won't know for some time until later this year what our funding will look like for the next fiscal year. To make any sort of financial commitment at this time to a small group of administrators who already have job security through June 2013 invites only cynicism and distrust from the public and from the employees.
Here, here.
So I would ask the same question that I heard, what's the rush? We still have 14 months, and I'm quite comfortable with that, pausing to discuss and reflect, and that's what I've been asking for the past couple of months. Postpone this, and again, a board can opt not to agree with that decision, but the way not to agree with it is to hold a full discussion and not suddenly drop this on the agenda tonight without any opportunity for that discussion to occur. This is something that should be aired and discussed and have a chance for the public to give input and for the board to really look at the contract, hammer out the details of it. We have not actually done that. This board has not sat together and even looked through these contracts to discuss whether or not these are viable contracts to continue with. No discussion has occurred like that. I don't know what kind of an organization would ever want to sign contracts they haven't reflected upon prior to just reissuing them. Times change and conditions change. So I think it's very negligent and irresponsible to be not even reflecting upon what these contracts are. And again, I see it as if just signing a blank check without reflection, without discussion, without revision. I think that's irresponsible. And that's not what I see my elected position to be. I don't see it to be irresponsible. I see it to discuss and reflect and modify to meet our needs. So this board majority has stretched out and delayed this superintendent's evaluation for 5 months now. We began this at the end of November, and for some unknown reason, this process has taken us 5 months of delays and bumps in the road. It wasn't until just this evening in closed session that we talked about the superintendent's evaluation, final evaluation. Yet, a few hours later, we're here offering contract extensions without any discussion about contract extensions. I find that a really unacceptable way to do business. So while it's taken 5 months to complete the evaluation, suddenly the decision is that 72 hours is sufficient time to consider something as weighty and important as contract extensions, not just for the superintendent, but for 4 other, not 5, for 4 other administrators that have been chosen. I have no idea why, and that is one of my questions, is why 4 of the 5 are selected. Again, we have not had this discussion as a board, so I don't have the answers to this and where it's coming from. So I would be interested in hearing that. That's called a public discussion and giving public information to people. The continued employment of a superintendent in particular is one of the board's most